Hi, everyone. Welcome to our online info session for the MLA and the PDLA programs. We'll explain what those mean in a minute for Hong Kong U's Division of Landscape Architecture. My name is Ivan Vallon. I'm the head of landscape here in the division. I'm joined also by Francisco Ceballos and Professor Chung Bin. Francisco is our program admissions director, and Dr. Jung Bin is the program director of the MLA. Francisco is also the program director of the PDLA. I'll give a small introduction about Hong Kong U and the Division of Landscape Architecture, and then we'll go through and talk about each of the programs. At the moment, there's not a lot of people online, so please, if you have questions, we'll have time for you to ask them. So maybe we jump straight into the presentation. Okay, so as I said before, we are going to show you a little bit about our home here at the university. It happens to be this year the 75th anniversary of architecture in Hong Kong U. So there are a lot of events and activities happening over the next 6 or 7 months. So we invite you to follow us on Instagram or Little Red Book or Issue to see what's going on. And you're always welcome to come participate as well. These are public events, many of them. Let's see the next slide. So is that going to be covered up? Let's see if we can move that. So Hong Kong U is the top university in the built environment sector in Hong Kong. Our Faculty of Architecture is #1 in Hong Kong. It's 4th in Asia, and so we are a big and significant school within the Asian region, and we are 13th worldwide. So these are strong rankings. We've been in the top 15 since these rankings began in Asia 10 years ago. Next. So just a little bit about the Division of Landscape Architecture. The division is part of the Department of Architecture. And the division has been its own unit since 2008. We are also sit alongside the Department of Real Estate and Construction and the Department of Urban Planning in the Faculty of Architecture. What that means is we have a lot of great resources for all of our students to have access to. So for landscape students, this means we've got a great fabrication lab where we've got lots of tools for all kinds of different materials. We have a robotics lab where we are experimenting with robotically fabricated concrete and other materials, clay, etc. We have very typical CNC and laser cutter machines, 3D printers. These are fairly standard, and we have lots of them for students to use. And we have a growing mix of VR or XR facilities or immersive environment labs that we are building out right now. The Division of Landscape Architecture more generally is proud to be part of what we call a living laboratory in Hong Kong. So we use the fact that we're in a very exciting and dynamic city as part of our unique teaching capacity. That means we bring students out into the field very often. We learn about Hong Kong, but we also are very connected to the region. That means the Greater Bay Area, the Pearl River Delta, but also Southeast Asia. And so we have deep connections in this larger region. And between Hong Kong and this larger region, we hope that a education in landscape architecture in this unique context really prepares our students for addressing very complex social environmental challenges that come from high density urbanization, rapid urbanization, climate change, ecological loss. This is a great place to explore these very global problems. In the Division of Landscape Architecture, we have 5 separate programs. The first 3 listed here, the bachelor's, the master's, and the postgraduate diploma. These are all in landscape architecture. We also have a 1-year conservation program and a 1-year sustainable environmental design program. Today, we're going to really talk about just the master's and the postgraduate diploma. At the moment, we have 16 full-time staff that teach within the division. These are people that you would interact with frequently or sometimes less frequently. Our professors and our lecturers have a wide range of focuses and diverse backgrounds, from landscape architecture to architecture, the sciences, the humanities, people that are engaged in China, in the North American region, in Southeast Asia. So we have a very, very unique and diverse group of teachers. Some of our instructors are also top researchers in the world. And so Professor Zhang Bin, Professor Bin Chen, and Ren Chao are all top-ranked scientists and researchers in their respective fields. So if I zoom in right now and talk about the Master of Landscape Architecture program, I can introduce a few things. I'll talk about what's unique about our program. I'll broadly introduce the curriculum that happens over the 2 years of teaching. And I'll highlight some of the things that makes learning and studying with us so unique. So generally speaking, the Master of Landscape Architecture program in Hong Kong U is the only professionally accredited program in Hong Kong. This is an accreditation that we've had for 30 years, beginning in 1995. So it's been continuously accredited. It's very closely linked with the Institute of Landscape Architects in Hong Kong. And it's a program that not only teaches you professional design skills, but it also has a strong research orientation. This is because we have such a good mix of researchers and practitioners in our staff room. Our focus is in the region, as I said, so studios and courses take you outside in Hong Kong, but also within the Southeast Asia region. And we also have a unique capstone experience, which is the Master of Landscape Architecture thesis project, an independent design research project that's at the very end of your 2-year program. The curriculum in the MLA looks very simple here. It's anchored by studios. We have a double credit bearing studio in each of the first 3 semesters. These studios are each year different, have a different focus for the first and the third studios. And one of our studios, the second studio, takes place within Southeast Asia. I'll talk more about those a little bit later. Studio is complemented by technology courses. These are practical technology courses that focus on ecology, plants, and grading and drainage. These are sitting alongside a set of history and theory courses. So you learn about the history and theories behind landscape architecture practice. And in the second year, these evolve into a research methods class. That's the thesis prep you see here in the third semester. And then finally, a course focused on professional practice, teaching you the laws and ethics of working as a landscape architect in the region. In the MLA, we have one media course, which is really focused on GIS and advanced geospatial analysis. And then in your final semester, in final year, you have lots of opportunity for specialization. So we have 3 elective courses that you can take from across the faculty, as well as in the division. And then, of course, you have your independent thesis project, which is in a subject of your choice. So to give you a little bit of a picture of what it's like to study with us, I want to focus on a few things. One is that we really bring students, again, out into the environment to engage with the landscapes, the communities, people working to make Hong Kong a more sustainable place, a better city. That means advocates, but also professionals working in the city. And we let you talk to them and learn from these people. So here, students are looking at some urban farming examples in Hong Kong, and then how we make soil in Hong Kong. We also bring you out into places and learn about different ecological aspects of Hong Kong. Here, students are helping restore an oyster reef in the Deep Bay. That's Shenzhen in the background. Or exploring some of Hong Kong's unique wild landscapes, such as the woodland forests. So, as I said before, the core of our teaching is the studio. Studios typically have a 12-to-1 student to teacher ratio, which means that you have, during the studio, you have lots of access to your studio instructor, lots of opportunities for mentorship, and also lots of engagement with teaching assistants who are dedicated to every studio that we teach. So lots of hands-on skill building. As a student in the MLA, you also have your own desk. So you get a space to work in the building that you can use 24 hours a day. Our focus on design means that we're constantly pushing students to work critically with materials, to explore through experimentation, through model building, through drawing, through analysis, through site work. And we focus a lot on not just the objects, the forms of landscape architecture, but also the strategic planning and the strategic thinking that goes behind them. So we get you to really focus on time and communities in your design plans. So working to build flexible design strategies. Students are expected to constantly present their work and to speak up about their ideas. So this is another skill you learn. You learn the skill of communication. And so here you see students presenting their models for a quick exercise in one of the courses. And increasingly, we're engaging with advanced technology so that physical models are combined with virtual mechanisms, virtual world things like, so we can simulate water flow, we can simulate plant growth over time to visualize in real time. Our second studio for the last 10 years has taken students to Southeast Asian cities to work with local partners, local universities, local communities on issues that are happening in those places. So this is an opportunity to really think about rapid urbanization, climate change risk, etc. We learn how traditional landscapes are managed. We learn about new ecologies. This is students in Thailand. This is students in Vietnam. And we get you to speak to government and universities. So you can share your ideas with people that are responsible for making change happen in these places. So it gives you a great opportunity to be a change maker in some of these cities. As I said before, the capstone experience in the landscape program is the MLA thesis. This is your own independent design project. You work on it for a semester, and it's really about defining your position within landscape architecture, but also bringing together everything you've learned in all your other courses to show that you have that professional capacity and knowledge. So students are experimenting in a wide range of ideas from local sites to specialized technology. Students are always very concerned about job opportunities when they graduate. In Hong Kong, the landscape industry is vibrant, featuring small firms, large firms, boutique firms, developers, lots of government positions, and lots of multidisciplinary opportunities. So landscape architects working for architecture firms, for engineers, for construction firms. So these are places where some of our students have been employed recently, some of the different companies. And for those of you that want to stay in Hong Kong, there are lots of opportunities, especially for Cantonese-speaking students, to be employed by government offices. There are currently about 11 or 12 different departments within Hong Kong that hire landscape architects. And these are jobs in high demand, but also jobs that currently have vacancies. So government is telling us we need more landscape architects to fill these jobs. And you can see that with a bit more experience at the medium ranks, these are quality jobs, high-paying jobs. Okay, so that's the Master of Landscape Architecture 2-year program, and Francisco is going to talk about our 1-year postgraduate diploma in landscape architecture program.
Thank you, Ivan. So now with that, I'm gonna show you how the PDLA fits in that sequence of studies you have. I'm gonna take you to understand what the PDLA is. I'm gonna give you an overview of the curriculum. And then obviously we are trying to find some synergies between what you saw, the MLA and the PDLA, and I'm gonna talk about those. And I'm gonna give you an overview of that learning experience and all the courses you get in the PDLA. So the PDLA is an intensive 1-year program that introduces the foundational skills, theories, and concepts in landscape architecture for undergraduate students. And these students are the ones who don't have previous design-based training in the environmental design fields. So it means that if you are not eligible for the MLA program, this is a really good opportunity if you want to pursue studies in design, in landscape design, in the landscape design discipline. So this program has a strong focus on developing design abilities and mindset. It is the pathway into graduate landscape for students without these design backgrounds, and is closely linked to the 2-year MLA program. And I'm gonna show you how that fits into the MLA curriculum. So the PDLA structure is framed as typical 1+2 MLA curriculum structure that is very common in North America. So in several countries in North America, you will find that they have this 2+1 program. So the PDLA is trying to create that bridge towards the MLA studies. So the academic rationale of the program included diversifying and advancing the MLA curriculum and increasing local student intake. This program is emerging as a response to trends in the MLA program. And it introduces fundamental landscape concepts, theories, histories, technologies, and communication techniques. So you already saw with what Ivan explained, the MLA is an advanced program in landscape design. The PDLA intends to create that foundational knowledge that is taking you to advance in your landscape design studies. yet is also created as a standalone degree to be provided as an exit point to meet market uncertainty. So it means that once you finish the PDLA program, you get one certificate, and it helps you to pursue your MLA here or abroad. So we have had several students who went abroad to study MLA programs in Cornell, the University of Virginia, or the University of Melbourne. So you have it broadened your opportunity to study the MLA. And this has a strong curriculum. I'm gonna take you now through all of that. That includes summer, fall, and spring courses. So in here you can see the structure of that PDLA program with the MLA program and how these are bridging. So the PDLA has 2 full-time semesters plus a 3-week bootcamp. So this 3-week bootcamp is during the summer. And similar as the MLA, the curriculum is structured around design studios and supported by technical courses in history and theory, landscape media, landscape technologies, ecology, and plant sciences. So, as I said before, the rationale is very similar to what you find in the MLA. So it is very, very easy and smooth to transition from the PDLA to the MLA. So you get used not only to the way we teach, but also to part of that content as a foundational part of your studies. So we have these 2 foundation studios, which are in green, and then 2 history and theory seminars and 2 technology courses. In total, the PDLA has 66 credits. So in the PDLA to MLA transition, what you get is you have these 2 MLA courses here. So Landscape Plants and Ecology 1 and Landscape Technology 1 are part of the MLA here, and you will learn those during your PDLA semester during the fall and during the spring accordingly. So these courses, once you go to the MLA program, these are waived. So Landscape Plants and Ecology 1 and Landscape Technology 1 are already part of your PDLA, so these are waived once you go to the MLA curriculum. And it means that you have the chance to get 2 more electives. And currently the DLA has programs in conservation, sustainable environmental design, and offers more electives. Additionally, you can also take electives in architecture and planning. So now I'm gonna talk a bit more about this learning experience. So I'm gonna walk you through course by course from the summer semester, the fall, and the spring. So this landscape architecture intensive is an introductory course that engages you with scale, space, time, and is one space where you will learn drawing tools like plan, section, perspective that you will be using during the rest of the program. So again, because this program is for students without design knowledge, during this week we cover all the foundational knowledge you will apply during the PDLA in all your courses. The first core studio focuses on observing and experiencing landscape. This is Landscape Design Studio 1. And the studio starts first by documenting and drawing landscape and ends by making site intervention with a focus on Hong Kong. Also, in the fall, you also have Landscape History and Theory 1. And this is one foundational course which explores the origins and meanings of landscape and nature, but looking at a wide range of disciplines, cultures, and eras. So you are learning the different landscape design principles which were conceived over the history. We also have during the fall Plants and Ecology 1, and in here students familiarize with plant species, how they function in the landscape, and how they can be used in landscape design. This is also an introduction to urban and rural habitats in Hong Kong, from street planting to hillside grasslands and mangroves by means of a program of field trips. Ivan already mentioned part of this in the MLA presentation. Then we have Landscape Media 1, where students learn how to visualize, how to represent your ideas, and how that serves as a tool to communicate your design intentions. So this is we teach how representation is used as a way to describe time, organization, process, and materiality. In the Foundation Design Studio 2, we start to cover complex issues of site planning, programming, and landscape systems. Students work across different scales in an urban context and engage with the community. So for the next year, we will bring an experiential learning component to this studio with a field trip to learn from specific projects in an urban density context. During the spring as well, we have Technology 1. That is the one that is coming from the MLA. So students familiarize with how to represent topography, grading, through a series of contour and water catchment drawing exercises. This course focuses on topography, soils, hydrology, and how these fundamental aspects of landscape design interface with vegetation and engineering interventions. Then also during the spring, you have environment and communities of the city that is building up knowledge on what you learn in history and theory. And this focuses on community engagement methods, where students meet different design practices that are doing community engagement and learn from those methods. This is now a requirement in public funded development programs in Hong Kong, and that's why we also collaborate a lot with different practices. So you learn from them and from those methods. Finally, during the spring, you have Landscape Media 2, and this is building up of Landscape Media 1, and is expanding and extending the core of concepts that you got in your foundation. It is trying to integrate digital media workflows into the design process. So in general, the PDLA reads landscape architecture in an expanded sense, from planning, conservation, urbanism, and ecology. But it's also a very unique program because obviously we get students from different fields, and that makes all the outcome extremely unique. Same as the MLA, this offers a highly personalized one-on-one learning environment. So the PDLA graduates are prepared for postgraduate students in a professional landscape architecture degree, and obviously you are prepared for the MLA to expand on all these foundational knowledge. If you would like to apply to the PDLA, same as the MLA, the deadline is on the 2nd of January by noon. So now I'm gonna take you through the application procedures for both the MLA and the PDLA. So the first is the eligibility for applying either to the MLA or the PDLA. So for the MLA, you need to hold a Bachelor of Arts in Landscape or Architecture Studies. This should be a degree of the University of Hong Kong or a similar degree from another comparable institution accepted for this. And then you also need to satisfy the university English language requirement applicable to high degree as prescribed under general regulations. For more details, you can check on our admissions website. You have the exact scores you need to satisfy this requirement. If you had a previous program in English, you don't need this. So you just need to have your degree, and then we just convalidate that as part of this language requirement. So it is very, very important to know that students without a Bachelor of Arts in Landscape or Architecture Studies should apply to the postgraduate diploma in Landscape Architecture, that is the PDLA. This thing, as I mentioned, one-year curriculum is structured to provide you the foundational training in design. So it also applies for students who haven't had enough studio courses. So you need to have at least 4 studio courses throughout your bachelor studies. So make sure you really.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah, sure.
So this language that you'll find in all of the admissions material is language from the University of Hong Kong. I think it's important to just clarify that when it says that for the MLA, you need a Bachelor of Arts in Landscape or in Architectural Studies, we do recognize that in different schools, this has a different name. So it might be called Bachelor of Science in Landscape Architecture. It might be called a Bachelor of Arts in Landscape Studies. It might be called a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture. It might be called a Bachelor of Architecture. These are all, to us, the same thing. Yeah? If you have questions about if your degree is sufficiently in landscape architecture or in architecture, you can ask us. You can write us an email to clarify. If you don't have a degree in landscape architecture, architecture studies, etc., that's when you go to the postgraduate diploma in landscape architecture. If you have a degree in finance, if you have a degree in engineering, if you have a degree in environmental sciences, that's where you would apply to the postgraduate diploma.
So the PDLA basically is trying to fill that gap with design fields, right? So just make sure you apply for the right program.
Well, hi, Ivan. I think in some universities, in the design schools, they also give the degree which is called the bachelor degree bachelor degree of engineering in landscape architecture also.
Okay.
So as long as the curriculum is a design oriented curriculum, then we can say it's a design degree. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, there are landscape degrees that are in engineering programs, that are in arts programs, that are in agriculture programs, forestry programs. I think we understand that there's a wide diversity, and you may have questions. So please ask if you're not clear.
So the application process and submission requirements offer candidates a chance to show that you have a good academic standing in appropriate disciplinary field. So you have a developed sense of landscape as a discipline and in terms of its cultural, historical, and ecological significance. It tells us that you can think critically, abstractly, and have an aptitude for design and representation, and that you can also be collaborative and are willing and motivated to learning at a postgraduate level. So the supporting documents that you need to submit for your application are Hong Kong ID or passport, your official transcripts, your degree certificates. If you have work experience, you also need to add those certificates validating your work experience. Your English test report, those can be the ones accepted by HKU are TOEFL and IELTS. Portfolio of studio work. This part is very important. Your portfolio should contain at least 3 projects that you have developed in your school. So we are not interested in projects developed outside your school, like potentially with portfolio academies, or if you were developing that with any other type of tutoring. We are mostly interested in projects which are coming from your school, from your studies, because we really need to see those projects with a specific site dealing with specific issues or engaging with specific geographies, but those should be from your school. You need to submit 1 personal essay, a brief curriculum vitae, and 2 reference letters. So for the procedures, we're going to have in-person interviews, and these are required with some exceptions if you are living outside Southeast Asia, basically. All applicants from mainland China are strongly encouraged to apply for a Hong Kong visa to facilitate participation in interviews, and we are going to also organize some special events here at HKU so you can get more immersed in what it means to study here at the MLA program or the PDLA program. So we have 3 different types of interviews. The first one is for applicants residing in Hong Kong and neighboring regions like the Greater Bay Area, the GBA. So at the time of the application, you should attend an interview and assessment at the Division of Landscape Architecture here at HKU. All the details are going to be provided with the interview invitation. For applicants residing in mainland China, at the time of the application, should attend an interview and assessment in the Shanghai region. Also, the details will be provided with the interview invitation. And then for those cases which are from overseas, interviews and assessments will be conducted online via Zoom. So all applicants must submit an online application via the university's online application system by noon on the 2nd of January 2026. The interviews are going to be in around early February, just before the Lunar New Year, and potentially within the MLA starting day is going to be on the 10th of August 2026. This is to be confirmed. So again, just something to bear in mind is that we strongly encourage you to apply for a Hong Kong visa once you submit your application to facilitate participation in all the interviews and special events organized by the Division of Landscape Architecture. So in the case you live in other parts, like outside the GBA area, and you would like to come to Hong Kong, you are welcome to come. So that's why we encourage you to apply for a Hong Kong visa. And then you can get immersed in this Division of Landscape Architecture experience.
Good. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes for any questions that you may have. Please just go ahead and ask. You can also type your question in the chat if you have them. I think the point that Francisco raised about the visa is, I want to make one clarification there. What we're talking about is a visitor visa in order to help the interview process. If you get an offer of acceptance from us, that will trigger a student visa, right? So these are 2 separate kinds of visa. we're asking at first you just apply for the regular visitor visa in order to participate in the interview. Alongside interviews, we will have potentially lectures or opportunities to meet with other professors or students. So more than just the interview, there will be other activities happening here.
So Winnie is asking if we can share the PowerPoint here.
So Winnie, we will upload a version of this talk, including the PowerPoint that we shared, online, so that you can see that. All of the information about the curriculum is also available online in a couple different places. You can look at our regulations and syllabus, which is linked on our website for each program. So that gives the exact requirements for every program. You can also look online at our yearbook, which looks back a year ago and shows you what we did. And so this includes the curriculum, but it also includes descriptions of every course that we offered. So those will be the three ways that you can see what we talked about here.
So if you search for the MLA or the PDLA program, you might find these two websites. So the first one, this one is the one that is HKU website, and this is the faculty. So here you can find more information about the program. So if you really want to get into the yearbook to see the type of work students have developed over time, you can see here. So you can navigate and go through that. Same applies for the PDLA. So if you go and navigate through these, you can find all the information here. You have the regulations, the syllabus. You can find all the different courses, more information about those courses. And here is where, so either way, if you go to admissions and you apply now, you will land on the HKU website, and from here is where you need to apply. So here. So if you are interested in any of these details, you can just search on our websites.
Good. Okay. If no further questions, then I think we can end the session. Ben, would you like to add anything?
I don't think I have further points. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining, and we will sign off. Anything else to add? No.
No, I think it's, if we don't have questions, I think that's it. So you will find all of these online. We're gonna make sure you know where this is. So thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.